Hey, loves. It has been a while since I've popped in here, and I missed you. I've missed you. I've definitely just missed sitting at my desk and hanging out and sharing a bit with you. So I wanted to share a journal that I did that is made out of an old tin. And it's probably one of my favorites, which is really hard to say. It's hard for me to use the word favorites because these are kind of, they're pieces of me. And it's hard to say I love one piece more than another because, they're all pieces. But this one I really do love. I love the age progression on the front. I love the baby, a woman maybe in her 20s, and then a woman in her, older years. And I took this from a portrait that was a portrait of family. It was a generational portrait, and it was this baby, her mama, then her mama, and then her mama's mama. And I only used 3 of them here. I took out her mama. But I loved the story that it told. I loved how the faces were kind of symmetrical and they lined up. And what I would also say about this piece is I love this piece because it was a do-over. I did the entire front and it didn't work. It just didn't work. And sometimes that happens, but it's the actual process of doing it that's important. So even if it doesn't work, I learn and I feel and I find my way through, and that is what I love about art. I love the process. So I want to open this for you because I'm going to be teaching this course this June 2024, and I think it's the 5th through the 9th. So please check, and I will put it in the description in this class. But it's at a retreat called Sacred Makers, which is off the charts fabulous. And it's a gathering around a lake in New Hampshire, and it's where On Golden Pond was filmed. It is also one of my favorite places on earth. So I've asked my husband, when I'm no longer here, I have a few instructions for him. I have a playlist, and I also have a few places that I would like ashes and pieces of me scattered, and one of them is this lake. So I'm going to be there June 5th through June 9th, and it is, honestly, it's unlike anything or any place you've ever been. And the women and the people and just not even just women. I mean, it's an amazing crowd of kindreds that are makers and seers and seekers. And then there's a group of teachers that are so inspiring, so accessible. You're eating, meals with them, you're hanging out, they're stitching circles at night. And it's just really extraordinary. So I'd like you to take a peek at that. And I want to show you what we'll be working on. So this is an old tin, and I have redone this. This velvet that you see is a piece of a shirt that I loved. It was like a tank top. I think it was always too small for me. I got it on the Anthro sale rack and had a little hole on it, and that's how I patched it when it was on me. And this was right around like the middle of it, like the V that came down to my chest area, and there was this patch, and I loved it more. So in here I wrote Precious Cargo Inside. And keep in mind, this was all redone. This is some of the canvas that was on the inside here. And here it just says, remember, and I'm looking back. Remember the little girl who could not get the words out, but knew the words would save her. Pieces of my skirt, pieces of fabric that I love. She knew the words would indeed come out someday. Tag from clothing, free spirit. She believed. I stuttered until I was about 13. So those were the words that were waiting to come out. And they didn't always come out as smoothly as these words that I'm speaking to you come out. And I'm going to go back to my remember. Remember the young girl who walked to the back of the bus so bravely. The young woman who shared her vision of what would be so boldly. Remember her always. This little girl was not that little. She was in high school, and I'm thinking I had said something to someone about someone. And a girl on the bus just verbally tore me apart, and not one person came to my defense. And I got off the bus, I was hysterical, and I went up to my room and I composed myself, and I came down and I called her. And I said, okay, the bus is going to come tomorrow. And people probably may not expect me to be on it, but I'm going to be on it, and I am going to sit right next to you. And let's talk about this so that we can get to that point together. And it was a moment. It was a moment of strength and resilience and mending. And I always want to remember that girl. I feel like I'm missing a piece of this girl. Where is she? I thought there was like little more that I wrote. But I guess not. I guess those are the pieces that I wrote. I have a lot of stories that are formulative, that made me who I am. And I thought I wrote about another of those times where I worked at I wanted to work at a television station when I was in sales, on the sales team. And I interviewed, and then the next day I had a cake sent to the sales department with their business card on it and my name. And that petrified me. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew it was a thing to do, but I was scared to death. So that is really how I use art journaling. I use it to hold stories. And if you go to the Sacred Makers website, you will see the option of this class, and I will only tell you that you will thank me. I think it's an amazing, amazing retreat. And the price, I'm trying to remember what it is. And now I drive to New Hampshire, but and that's about like an 8-hour drive that I treasure and is part of my journey. And I'm quiet so I can prepare to teach and hold space for people. And I do the same on the way home. But I want to say it's all your classes, all your extras like yoga and extra classes. It's your lodging in the most amazing cabins with these roaring fireplaces and refrigerators that actually are old school, and they're a block of ice that is harvested from the lake in the winter and then put in there all season. And it's all your meals, and that's the price. And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if it's like $1,500 or $1,600. I remember I went for years before I taught at an event like this, and I made my way in those woods and alone, and sometimes I had to make payments or I had to figure it out, but I will tell you it was life-changing. So I just wanted to share this, and I wanted to share about Sacred Makers, and whether it be this year or another year, whether it be Sacred Makers or something else, gather, create. That I believe our soul grows when we are side by side and our hands are busy and our hearts are open. So I hope you love this, and I'll be back. I'll try to get back sooner next time. Hey, thank you so much for listening.